Tuesday, I could be home, like, I have to take my car over to Forest Truck, and
That's all
that's
it
like
is.
about 1:30 or 2.
Yeah,
I
it's,
could
I mean,
be home,
the reality
back
is,
tomorrow.
they have to meet a criteria.
I'll just call you when I get home. Yep.
It's either they take a loan from our fund, and then the money captured
Good evening, Vicksburg. Welcome to tonight's Village Council regular session in-person meeting, Monday, February 21, 2022. Just a reminder to all that this is being live recorded, and if you care not to be in the audience, you're more than welcome to dial in on our webpage. You go to the vicksburgmi.org page, and you will see at the bottom right-hand corner a join meetings. And so any one of our residents can dial in remotely and ask questions. We'll have two opportunities to speak tonight. We have, first time would be agenda items only, and at the end, there is a time for comments for non-agenda items. So I'll call this meeting to order tonight. We'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's so good when we're live.
We'll take a moment of silence and prepare for our roll call.
Roll call for February 21st, 7 p.m., Village of Vicksburg regular scheduled council meeting. Trustee Holmes. Here. Trustee Wagner.
Here.
Trustee Merrill.
Here.
Trustee Reister.
Here.
President Pro Temp Keller.
Here.
President Frisbee.
Here. And Trustee Olson was excused. He advised last week and confirmed this morning that he wouldn't be in attendance tonight. We have an agenda in front of us. I would ask staff, was there any changes or additions we'd like to discuss?
No changes to the agenda. We will have a correction on the minutes once we get to the approval of the general consent agenda.
Very good. Is there any other areas that we need to address by trustees, or I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by President Pro Tem Keller, support by Trustee Reister. We'll do a voice vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So we have agenda in front of us tonight. I don't see that we had any scheduled appearances. Mr. Mallory, is there any public officials on the call that we would?
None are scheduled, sir.
Well, John, we miss you. Our correspondence we have in our agenda, and we're to citizens' comments. This is for agenda items only. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the council, please do so this time. I think Mr. Mallory will explain to you, if you're on the phone, how to address it.
Yes, I think everyone that is on, and I believe there's 7 people besides staff, or maybe if we include YouTube, an additional 5 on YouTube watching live. But to speak in front of the council, you need to be a member of the Zoom webinar. If you are on a computer, just wave your cursor on your screen, and down at the bottom will be a raised hand. You'll click on that, and I'll bring you in to make comments to the council on agenda items. We'd ask that you state your name and home address. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. I believe I recognize all the names that are on the call. If give them a few minutes here to indicate if they wish to speak to the council. And seeing no one there, I don't indicate there's anyone on a phone, but if you were on a phone, you'd be prompted as well to be able to raise your hand with the *9 and *6 function. So I think we go to
Seeing
in
none,
person.
thank you, Mr. Mallory. We'll move on to approval of the general consent agenda, which includes the minutes of our regular scheduled council meeting last February 7th, 2022, warrants, reports, and the total of $265,000, 509. Event rental requests, there's none. And we have a correspondence emails from John Steers dated February 15, 2022. So there are corrections to the agenda?
The corrections would be on the minutes under, and I appreciate Trustee Wagner sending me a message, reference item number 5, correction of ultimately, where it concludes who the motion was made by and seconded. We're going to get that corrected off the videotape. So we know that President Frisbee did not make that motion. and we'll have that corrected, so the minutes are correct when we post them.
Were there any other points on that, or if not, I entertain a motion to approve the general consent agenda?
I move as amended.
I support as amended.
Motion by President Pro Tem Keller, support by Trustee Wagner. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote will be Trustee Merrill,
Yes.
Trustee Reister,
Yes.
Trustee Holmes,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. Motion carries. Sewer to Village Council action items in front of us tonight. We have a request from staff for some work on the DPW vac truck. And I'll let Mr. Mallory take a moment to talk through that.
Yeah, this, we have quite an investment in the vac truck. I think certainly people amongst our staff, Department of Public Works, this council, and a lot of our citizens realize how often we use that on sewer and water main repair work. If you remember, I believe it was 2018, maybe 19, that we invested and updated from a 1990. This is a 2014. That was about 5 years old when we purchased it. These pieces of equipment are about $650,000 new, and that's for the basic model. And we felt, and it had been used quite a bit, that there's a company that specializes in this vehicle, and that's the Jack Duhaney Company out of Northville. So we took it over there. They took 2 weeks to go stem to stern. The council does have the estimated quote to get the vehicle absolutely go through. I anticipate doing this about every 3 years. In the meantime, our DPW staff does the routine maintenance of oil changes and in the such. But when you're using a vehicle like this, this investment is to not exceed $63,054.81, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. It will be split 50-50 between the water and sewer funds, so it won't.
President Frisbee, if I can.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mallory, are we, in our committed funds that we have, are we setting aside funds other than this annual maintenance or this every 3 year maintenance on the vac truck? Are we setting aside funds anticipating so many years down the road that we'll probably have to get another new vac truck?
Yes, it's listed in the assignments in two different directions, or different line items, if you will. One is DPW heavy equipment. Going by memory, I think that's about $65,000 or $70,000 that currently we have in there. But yes, funds are being set aside. The life expectancy of this piece of equipment is 25 years.
Just make sure the residents understand that we are committing funds, that we're setting it aside so that, this is money we have set aside already earmarked for this type of spend.
Correct.
So just a reminder to all, I believe we bought this used.
Yes, we did. It was a single owner, local company, Clean Earth, that we approached, kind of similar to the relationship we had with the city of Kalamazoo on the plow truck that we purchased used. So we moved from a 1990 model, jumped it up to a 2014 here in the village, and I think we had about $170,000. We did have assistance through a foundational grant.
Yes.
That covered some of that as well. But
And thank you for the Vicksburg Foundation for that, indeed. I wanted to make a point of that. So just so we're spending money wisely for the taxpayers, so we get the best deal that we can for the value we're getting. And this machine has run a lot here. I know I've seen it out on a dozen cases. Just
to give an example, it has now been on the other side of the state for going on 3 weeks. We've had 3 or 4 different water main repairs that were needed that all need a vac truck. That's $1,500 to get one just to come to the scene. So we're about between $6,000 and $7,000 in having outside equipment to support our Department of Public Works employees in that repair. So not having an operating piece of equipment while operating the infrastructure we do comes with a cost as well.
And it does appear that they've done an extremely thorough preventive maintenance and analysis of what it needs, so I don't think anything has gone untouched. Sir?
Jim, I appreciate you making the comments that you did about the issues that we've had without the truck. I'm looking to make the connection with those issues that we had as it relates to the continuing needs of the community to repair our aging infrastructure. Are those areas where we had those issues, in those areas that we were not able to get funding for, that 2/3 that we weren't able to get funding for the critical needs for our infrastructure?
Okay, I want to make sure I heard the question correctly. You're talking when the SAW grant identified 30 million, we've invested about 10. Is the equipment a part of the remaining? Is that what your question was?
Are the areas that we're seeing the repairs made in those areas that we were not able to cover because we couldn't get funding for those other areas?
I know of one of the most recent 4 locations is. The other 3 sadly are not. And as an example, the 2 significant problems we've had on Kalamazoo Avenue in the last 4 years, those were identified lower than number 17 on the critical list. So there were 16 other locations that we believe need help more than Kalamazoo Avenue. So yes, I can also give a specific example for the council members that I might have my years off, but I'll say over about a 4-year period, I think it was 2014, 15, 16, and 17, we had $5,000 to $8,000 worth of water main repairs done each year right out on Boulevard by Prairie Street. And in 2017-18 fiscal year, we invested $300,000 on that water main to get it to new, and things have gone well. I know DPW staff's on the call, so I don't want to jinx. They've taught me well, so I'll just say I appreciate the comments because I think it highlights operating a system such as we are that's aging, and we've experienced it in the last 2 weeks with the freezing, thawing, refreezing, thawing, and then deep freezing isn't good on infrastructure like this. So, and we're fortunate because our staff in-house has the talent, expertise, and passion to do the repairs themselves versus outsourcing it all out.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Miller, what's the timeline on getting this truck, getting all these issues taken care of and getting it back
We
here?
should be able to pick it up within 2 weeks, I've been told. They know that it was coming in front of the council and that we would be reporting back tomorrow with what our recommendation is to approve it, and that we'd have a 2-week turnaround time.
I know you've put this in front of us for approval, but so I would assume you have a good feeling about single sourcing it and.
Yeah, and first would be, it's all of you have seen the vac truck to drive it to locations that, I mean, operating a system such as we are that's aging, and we've experienced it in the last 2 weeks with the freezing, thawing, refreezing, thawing, and then deep freezing isn't good on infrastructure like this. So, and we're fortunate because our staff in-house has the talent, expertise, and passion to do the repairs themselves versus outsourcing it all out. could give us an estimate would have taken 6 or 7 weeks, because as this one, it took them 6 or 7 business days to give us this comprehensive list. I've reviewed the cost with people and it's in line with their hourly billing rate, and it's an amount not to exceed, and there'll be communication, I'm pretty confident, on a daily basis once they start working on it. So yes, I was very confident that it's a value driven and within industry standards.
Thank you. Any other questions or for staff or comments on that? Other than that, we have a request in front of us to approve the expenditure. So I entertain the council's opinion or discretion.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the village manager's request.
Trustee Wagner will support.
Trustee Holmes made motion of support, and Trustee Wagner motion of support. We'll take a roll call, please.
Roll call vote, Trustee Reister,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Merrill. Yes. President Pro Temp Keller,
Yes.
Trustee Holmes,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. Motion and expenditure approved. So we have next on the list a food truck rally, which always piques my interest.
Correct, made quite an investment downtown, and some would say March 10th might be a little bit early, but we believe to bring citizens in our downtown anytime is good, and good for the merchants and just to have the activity downtown. So March 10th, this request is for an approval from the council to close off Main Street between 4:30 and 8 p.m. between Prairie Street and Washington. So right on Main Street, there'll be 4 food trucks. And I believe it is either Paper City or Vicksburg Land Company has graciously going to have some music down there, down in the area. So we have the utilization of our social district.
Again,
So
thank you
how
for
we
that.
just I guess part of Jackie's staff as I don't mean to catch Jackie off, but our prep and members of her team had solidified a single guitar player to add that element downtown, and maybe create some dancing if people need to warm up or whatever. So I do appreciate that, and we did email last week to all the downtown building owners and merchants of this event, as well as Alex has walked door to door answering questions and informing citizens. And as we move into this 150th year anniversary celebration, so.
Jim, I have a question about that. Who is actually doing this? Is it the village?
Yeah, the request is from the village to close the street off. It's our request, and it's a Thursday night, and Alex is leading the effort to create events downtown throughout this calendar year, and the food truck vendors who have the last couple years participated in Vicksburg are excited for it and looking forward to it. It's like I said, just a pop-up event, and overwhelmingly the merchants were very positive and excited about it.
Well, I hope then that everybody in Vicksburg comes out. Please come out.
And yeah, and Alex will be using his talents on social media and getting word out and everything.
If I could.
Yes.
Just a quick question. Any interaction that we should be concerned with for the social district? I know that is during social district time frame.
No.
Okay.
We want it to be during the social district time. That's what that area is for.
Perfect.
So people can, not only will the food vendors and people of Vicksburg be able to experience that environment, our 5 establishments that are within the social district certainly hopefully see an increase in sales that night of the social district, and people return to those opportunities as well as shopping in our retail spaces.
Sir, yes, sir.
Jim, love it. Anything we can do to celebrate the downtown. Just a thought, and that is, in realizing that some of the businesses will still be open, Jasper's and the hardware store, it might be helpful to just kind of point people in the direction, maybe a parking sign, the parking lot behind the buildings on Main Street, so that people know where they can go.
Any other comments or questions for the staff? If not, see what the council's desire is on this request that's put in front of us.
I'll make the motion to approve the request to close Main Street between Prairie and Washington between 4:30 and 9 p.m. on March 10th, 2022, or 8 p.m.
I'll support that.
We have a motion of support by trustee Wagner and second by trustee Merrill. I think we can do a voice call on this. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jim. Thanks, thank you, Miss Jackie, for the entertainment. You may be out there yourself with your ukulele, but
Yeah, and I do, it's another example too, what Alex brings to the team. Members of the council know I spent some time recently down in Florida due to family commitments, and we're working on a couple different grant opportunities, but this is a prime example that to give Alex, hey, my mission for him was, let's have a full year of activities downtown in this year of celebration, and he just runs with it. So really appreciate all he's done for the team and the village.
I'd like to ditto that. Thank you, Alex. So we'll move on to committee assignments. I've sent each one of the trustees this assignment and had discussion with every one of you. I do have some corrections, so I'll make those corrections tonight via my voice and then send out tomorrow the revised list. I left someone off, a committee off of here, but I'll run through them. President Pro Tem will stay Carl Keller. Of course, the council meeting is full council. Planning Commission DDA, Mr. Rick Holmes with a backup of Mr. Keller. Parks and Rec, Ms. Julie Merrill, and with backup of trustee Wagner. Municipal Building Authority, that will be myself, Tim Frisbee, with trustee Holmes as a backup. Of course, Brownfield is full council. South County Sewer will be, this is the correction I made. I had Mr. Keller in there, and I will take over the responsibilities of South County Sewer with backup of Mr. Keller, trustee Keller. South County Fire, Carl Keller, and his backup will be myself, Frisbee. CATS Committee, Policy Committee will be myself, and with backup support by Mr. Keller. Finance Team, Ryan Wagner, Rick Holmes, myself, Tim Frisbee. Human Resources, Gail Reister, Ryan Wagner, Tim Frisbee. Kalamazoo Bike, and I was questioned about this, and I just want to make it clear, we have the authority to appoint non-council members in these committees, so that being, if the question comes out with Mr. Bill Adams, he's a great voice for our community and has done a lot, so we'll leave that as is. The District Library, Ms. Trustee Gail Reister, and I'll be her backup. And the Tree Committee is what I left off of here, and that'll be Ms. Gail Reister, and I'll be her backup. So that are the changes and the appointments that I'd like to go through the balance of our term. So I'd like your support via motion on this. And
Trustee Keller, so moved as submitted.
Reister, support.
President Pro Tem Keller motion and Trustee Reister support. And we'll do a roll call vote on this.
Roll call vote, Trustee Holmes.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
President Pro Temp Keller.
Yes.
Trustee Reister.
Yes.
Trustee Merrill. Yes. President Frisbee.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you for your support, team. I appreciate that. And that moves us on to Village Manager report, if you would, Mr. Mallory.
Thank you, President Frisbee. Again, talking infrastructure, we're looking at that, certainly reinitiating here this month. Probably, and by this month, I mean within the next 30 days. It'll be in the month of March, but people might have seen the heavy equipment being replaced back off of Washington Street, where it'll begin Michigan and Washington, and we'll fully communicate with the public once we get closer. And I'll pause on each if someone has questions. I have been asked about the parking downtown, the striping, and that we anticipate will be after the third week of April, all weather dependent, that'll be in place. But I'll pause there if there's any questions on what we've been categorizing the downtown infrastructure project.
And I appreciate your quick response. I believe business owner or somebody inquired about the handicap parking, and you responded to them the same within
Yeah,
hours,
we have
so thank you.
juggling a lot to memory, but and we'll get that information out there. There is additional, and I don't know if Trustee Merrill can help me out on the total number, but I know there's at least twice as much handicap spots downtown near the ADA ramps at the intersections. And there's little things we're finding, like I appreciate one of the business owners got a hold of me on the sign that for West Main and Prairie there on the north end, and it was put in prior to the crosswalk sign, and it's perfectly placed blocking the crosswalk sign. But we'll move that a few feet to the west and correct that problem. I'm sure there'll be other things that we identify like that. And there's been a couple sections. It comes with a year warranty, so some people have inquired because there's some cracks in some of the new sidewalk that was put down. All of those will be replaced and move forward, but we'll do it at the appropriate time with keeping the council and public informed.
Thank you. Any other questions on infrastructure?
DPW barn, we are coordinating the approval of the storm system. We'll just coordinate once the equipment comes in for Oswalt Park as well, since Frederick's overseeing both, and we're, I believe, utilizing the same excavator on both projects. I have been in communication. We kind of paused for 30 days with the pole barn just to make sure that before we put in a floor, there needed no access to that. So we have communication coordinating between the two. I have informed the general contractor of the pole barn building. His section's expected to be completed by April 15th. He does not foresee that as any type of problem. So those projects are moving forward, and again, looking to have completed certainly before May 1st. And again, if anyone has questions, I'll kind of pause before moving. Oswalt Park, just really pleased with the communication from Frederick Construction on the project, handling it. I did have to contact Prime Newhoff to make sure the contracts, and I owe them a signature on something, but I'm just getting a clarification from one of our attorneys before signing that, but that is moving forward as well. And looking that right now, as we stand, we believe that has a 90th percentile completion date of May 20th. Oswald Park. So, and then I have contacted 5 of the organized neighborhoods in the village to establish dates to have Zoom meetings with those groups to solicit their input on what reference what they would like within our village, kind of on a needs, wants, and wishes type, and be able to coordinate that and use that information as we start to formulate the 22-23 fiscal year prep. One, we did it last year. It went into it due to technology, but actually we had close to 70 residents participate in that and had some excellent ideas, including the pickleball courts that I hadn't thought of, and we're probably going to be in front of the council the next meeting with looking at that project to get it done this fiscal year. And felt comfortable enough that we will have one village-wide Zoom meeting, and it'll be done in a webinar fashion with the village manager, so it's not like an open meetings act. It's not a council meeting. It's for staff to start to gather data. But the council will all have those links to certainly be able to when I say participate, if they wanted to listen to the comments and that as we move forward. And be happy to answer any questions on that. All right, that's a report.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. That takes us on to committee reports. Planning Commission, I believe you all had a meeting?
We did. We met last Monday here. It was the first Planning Commission meeting actually since November 8th, and the reason for that simply was there was nothing on the agenda for December and January. There's a couple things I can report out to the council. First, Bobby Durkee, our planning director, gave the Planning Commission 2021 annual report, which is actually required by the state for those that are not aware of it. And through that, there are some highlights of the year. We had 9 regular meetings. He also covered briefly the site plans that were approved, opinions on zoning board appeals, and then also the recodification project. Committee members were told to expect a survey from Jim, just as he informed us here shortly, and that would be something discussed at the April meeting. The village manager also gave an update on construction, and that he was also looking into what other communities our size have done relative to looking at some uniformity with outdoor furniture. And this will be presented at a future date once he gets all the information. As has been mentioned tonight, the Oswald Park project is moving forward, and the expected completion date of May 20th is in the works in time for the Old Car Festival. And then lastly, Chairman Schenkel actually referenced a desire to place committee member Tanya DeLong on the DDA subcommittee, where her business experience would help there. And I think there's strong approval for that within the committee as well. So that's the items from the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Trustee Holmes. Well done. Thank you very much. South County Sewer has a meeting tomorrow. We'll get an update on the tree committee.
Yeah, I talked with Mike today, and Kane's doing well with her surgery. He will know by midweek of this week or the end of the week when he will be setting up our next meeting date. And I would suspect that it would probably be that first or second week in March. So.
All right. Thank you. Trustee Merrill, the Parks and Rec.
Okay. Parks and Rec will be having a meeting February 28th. It's a Monday night. It's scheduled for here at 7 o'clock. And last month we had a workshop session. The last month Monday night of the month of January, and we just kind of discussed and brainstormed about what people would be wanting to see with Parks and Rec, what they want changed, maintained, whatever they see needed. So that's still open, like comments that people have can send their comments to Jenny Holmes or myself through the village email system. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll briefly touch on South County Fire. They had their meeting this past week. It was a interesting meeting, to say the least. I will advise the team that they adopted a new purchasing policy, which was, our vote was cast in favor of supporting the budget on that caveat. So that was relayed to the team. So that's pretty much it. That kind of leads us to citizens' comments on non-agenda items. The book
Yeah.
is open if you want to speak to that, and we'll let
Yeah,
Mr.
we still have, and we've had a couple additional people join on, online through the Zoom webinar platform. So, and we do have one citizen on the phone. I know he's aware of what number to hit if he would like to speak, or anyone else. The other, and there's, I believe, 6 or 7 on computers. Again, just wave your cursor over the screen, hit the raise hand, and John, if you wish to speak, go ahead and hit the function that lets me know that. John, I went ahead and brought you in the meeting. I just want to make sure, and I've asked you to unmute. Okay, if anyone else would like to raise their hand electronically, go ahead and do that. Just move your cursor across the screen, and Mr. Steers, again, if you wish to speak, I've brought you into the meeting and have asked you to unmute your phone.
Seeing none, we appreciate the time and the citizens to attend via remote. That's a new thing that, right, was developed during the COVID, and it's brought a whole new level of communication with this council and our residents. So we'll move on to trustees' time. I'll start with Trustee Merrill.
I'll be quiet.
No. Trustee Reister.
I'm going to be quiet, too.
Trustee Holmes. Well, yeah.
We know that.
Briefly, I would just like to say first off, thank you to the Vicksburg Land Company for the discussion we had earlier at the Brownfield Committee. Secondly, and most importantly, I just see so many good things happening in our community that it's just, it's invigorating, and also realizing that we're coming on the other side of some bad things that have happened in the last 2 years, and hopefully we're going to be soon seeing even more openings happening around our community as well as the U.S. and the world. I'm seeing it in my business, more face-to-face meetings that have not happened in the last 2 years, and it's uplifting to see and get a sense that our anniversary here, our 150th anniversary, that we are going to be able to come together safely in our community. So just wanted to share that I'm really interested in seeing where we're going as a community, and it's great to see the positivity out there as well.
Trustee Wagner.
I'm very excited for the food truck rally. That's always a good time, and I think it's a great opportunity to highlight our new space, hopefully with all the furniture in place and everyone having a good time. Really looking forward to that, but that's it for me this evening.
President Pro Tem Keller.
Once again, thank you for everything that you are doing, that the investors in Mackenzie's downtown are doing. It's awesome. Also, I'd like to thank President Frisbee for going through the appointments. I know this was a long, arduous process, but I appreciate his effort on going and doing that.
All right, so we have one county resident that would like to speak on the non-agenda items, so we'll,
Give me a second, and just give me a test, John, like count to just 5 so I can make sure it's coming across so they can hear you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you.
Yep, and then just state your name and address, John, and then 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll time it.
Go ahead when you're ready, John.
Okay. I just wanted to thank Mr. Mallory for allowing me to speak a lot. Sometimes this doesn't work through the mobile, and it's as simple as that to fix. And a lot of places don't allow us to talk. They just say, okay, nobody's there, that's it. So kudos to you folks for doing that. I want to remind the council that when they show up 3 strong, I guess 4 strong, if you call it the league, at a Brady Township meeting during a Charter Township discussion, that it is much more than just a matter of us making a decision whether we want to be a Charter Township when the state frankly only gives us a month to decide that when we make our population numbers. What it does is it cements me as a citizen the real reasons that weren't expressed in the last meeting minutes that were just approved tonight. And that is that those 3 of those people that were in attendance that night have the opinion or have the power to take an annexation vote to the county. Many of us that are questioning and have questioned the Big Dig sewer project up Sprinkle Road that is not getting a whole lot of press from anybody, and I encourage anybody who's listening to look into the village's multi-million-dollar USDA project loan, that we are obviously concerned about being annexed. The people on Barton Lake are concerned about being annexed. That's why, for one reason, they had that vote a while back. So when you folks come to our township and you just go, well, we just want to see how the professionals do it, and you show up with 3 of the 4 votes needed to annex us, and, you know, you kind of start talking about, well, you know, this 5, they can go ahead and get 5 mills and, you know, get without a vote or anything. You know, there's a lot of people in this township, unfortunately, and I don't want to, as Mr. Frisbee said, seem unkind, but there's a lot of people in this township who don't want to be annexed by the village. And they don't mind paying 5 mills or paying for a sheriff deputy that we've long needed to prevent that. So I would caution showing up at our township meeting just when we have these votes, very important votes, and then claiming that you're just all there, you know, to see how Brady Township is doing for the first time in recorded history. And I think you guys all know what I mean, and my time's up, and thank you for coming to our meeting.
thank you, sir.
John. I'm going to hang the cell phone up.
Well, with that, I'll just have a little clarity. You know, we have every right to be at that meeting, and we did have interest in that meeting. I believe there's a lot involved to annex properties, and I don't think that's why we were there. It was a learning experience for myself personally. I wanted to understand a little bit more about charter townships, how that impacted the residents. I think there's a lot to be said and a lot of work to do, and I will say that I've never had any discussion with this board in regards to annexation. So we can just take that off the table right away, and that was not our intent to be there.
Mr. Frisbee, if I can also clarify, because Alex Lee is not a voting member, that was during the time period I was in Florida. I called Alex Lee to represent staff, and also as an educational, our village is, as we know, split with 2 townships that we have good working relationships. So and I've never in all of my employment ever been moved by any council I've worked for on that topic. In fact, just the opposite. We got a lot of stuff in our area. But we also, when citizens mentioned that if someone were to become a charter township and the charter township could raise their mills, we duly represent potentially. So I think it's good business. I certainly appreciated Mr. Lee attending it for educational purposes and that as well. So.
Yes, thank you. And at the time, I heard no other people other than ourselves there making any comments in regards pro or con. And moving on, Jim, I thank you for making yourself available to the residents of this community. Thanks for putting together the Zoom platform and seeking out the residents' desires, wants, wishes, and needs, or that's backwards, isn't it? I should have started with wishes, but it's good.
That's not the way us finance people put it in.
Needs, wants, and wishes. But thank you for that. That's something you're taking on yourself and then opening yourself up and making yourself available to the community. So that's a great thing to get everybody involved. I've said that since I've been on here. I'd like to see 50 people in the audience and, let us know what their desires are. So we're moving to that end. And in regards to the South County, Kalamazoo South County fire, I want to make it clear that the village of Vicksburg supports South County Fire. We greatly appreciate the important work that they do. The recent back and forth was nothing more than working together to make things better. We appreciate that South County Fire Authority adopted a new purchasing policy and made other improvements as well. We will continue to work together in a strong and positive partnership to protect the people that we represent. And misinformation never serves us well. And I would ask that if you hear information that concerns you, that you reach out to this council or to the village staff to obtain the facts. And I thank you for everyone's support. And that's all I had for the evening. Barring no other comments, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
President Frisbee, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Reister.
Motion
Support.
by Trustee Wagner, support by Trustee Weister. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion adjourned.